Welcome to the Motoring Podcast, the Toyota Mobility Show 2025 Special Edition. Hello, I'm Alan.
Hello, I'm Andrew. What is this Tokyo Mobility Show that you talk of?
Well, we've done a special edition a bit like this before.
A couple of years ago, I think.
It is a couple of years ago, yes. But the Tokyo Mobility Show used to be the Tokyo Motor Show. But it's now not just about motors and cars and stuff. It's about mobility.
And all that might mean.
Yes, exactly. It's cars and stuff.
Still, and we started this in, 2015, our show, and people started to get really on the mobility bandwagon. And still nobody can properly define what it means.
Yeah, it's getting about stuff, really, isn't it? But not public transport and not trucks and stuff. Well, a little bit of trucks and vans maybe, but not big trucks, generally speaking. Whatever the heck it is, it seems to have been very popular. The actual physical show was open for just over 10 days. We're recording this just after it's finished. A couple of reasons for that. First of all, you don't just get the first, second, gosh, look at this, we need to be the first people to splat this up on the internet type stories. And you get a view of everything that's happened. And it's just when we had time to record, really. But over 1 million people visited it in the 10 days that it was opened. And that's pretty good going.
I think I'd be happy with 100,000 people plus a day.
Yeah, exactly. And you can bet that was weighted towards the weekends and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's still one of the great motor shows I think that's worth going to. Sorry, mobility shows.
I was reading somewhere that it is still considered one of the top 5.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, we're bothering to do a special edition about it.
Mm-hmm.
That gives you an idea that there's obviously people were showing interesting stuff and different stuff. I mean, there have been many motor shows where we've been intending on doing a special edition like this, and we've got to it, and it's just like, is that it?
Yeah.
Really? There's like 3 vehicles there. There's not nearly enough to be worth recording half an hour, 40 minutes worth of talk about it. That's not necessarily a given that just because there's a motor show, it's going to be super interesting. But Japan always kind of pulls it out of the bag. It's one of those, it's an every 2 years show as well.
Yeah.
It sort of splits with the modified vehicle one in between. And that was one of the things this year, by the way. Tokyo and SEMA in Las Vegas overlapped. There was certain brands were showing loads of stuff at SEMA. Definitely Asian brands were all showing stuff in Tokyo.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, do you want to move us on to the first of the cars we've carefully selected to discuss?
Yes, carefully. It's what's the word? What's the word all the luxury brands use?
Bespoke?
No. Well, yes, but not in this instance.
I think I know the one you mean.
You know the one. Yes. But it'll come to us about halfway through. Yes, it's been carefully curated.
Hand curated.
So we're going to start. Yes, we're going to start. We're trying to go roughly in order of size. I think was kind of what we decided. Roughly in order of size, and then sort of the weird stuff at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Just seemed the most sensible way to do it. I'm going to kick us off with something that is, I don't know, possibly one of the most traditional types of offering. Oh, by the way, people, in case you haven't realized, whatever format you are consuming this in, this show, unusually, is a multimedia extravaganza. It should, as we start talking about a car, do something that some of you really like when we do it, which is it should change to a slide with pictures of that car.
Yes. As long as your podcasting platform can support it. Not all of them do, but most of the good ones do.
Yes. As you go along, it should be changing. If it's not, it's your podcast player.
Yes.
But anyway, we're going to start off with the Honda Super One prototype. It's a K car. It's an electric K car. And it's an electric sporty K car. What more could you possibly ask for?
And it's possibly one of the least concepts there.
Oh, no, this is, I mean, it's got proper door handles and wing mirrors and everything.
I know, we judge them on the wing mirrors.
It is basically production ready. It's a little sporty K car with grippy seats. This one comes with synthesized gears, which Andrew hates already, simulating a 7-speed powertrain. It has a synthesized engine noise on the inside as well, so you can pretend it's a 3-cylinder thrumming like mad little sporty number. It's cool.
It's cool, in the looks and what it's doing. I don't need the glittery baubles and bits on the side, thank you.
I do.
The car itself and what it does is cool enough for me. That is absolutely wonderful. And there's talk. There is talk of this possibly coming to the UK.
Yes.
Particularly if the EU does go down the small, affordable EV route.
Yes, absolutely. The thing about all the balls and whistles that he gets so grumpy about is you can turn the darn things off. And you know what? Sometimes it's kind of fun to have them on. Because those, like the virtual gear, it even says here in the Car Scoops article, as well as multimedia. Of course, the source articles are all linked in the show notes, as always. But this one from Car Scoops points out that the virtual gear shifts and it says the ICE-inspired soundtrack. Let's believe that that's internal combustion engine, shall we? That will fire into life when the car is driven in boost mode. So I'm quite happy with that. Normally, it's just a normal EV. When you put it into silly mode, you can have your virtual gear shifts and stuff. I like it. It's shown in flat grey. I would prefer it if it was actually painted. I love the blue, grey and white interior, though.
I love the interior. It's so simple.
Yeah, exactly. And it's all bolstery and cute stuff. It's a cracker. This is one of my favourites of the ones that we're going to go through.
Yeah, there's also a YouTube video that's embedded in the article as well. And it also goes on to say that it's going to be at Goodwood this summer.
Oh, excellent. That does also bring a little bit more hope that it might come to the UK properly.
Yeah, just need the legislation to enable K cars.
Yeah, and it gives Honda something interesting to sell.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the UK.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll talk about some more Hondas a bit later on. But in the meantime, Andrew, do you want to talk about a not Japanese car? I think it's the only not Japanese car we're going to talk about.
I think it is as well, and that's the reason we've included it. BYD is bringing an all-electric K car to the Japanese market. Wow. I expect there's a few nervous executives in Japan. The BYD Rako?
Rako, it means sea otter, supposedly, because BYD named stuff after sea mammals.
Yes, it had to be a sea mammal. Excellent. There's no real information on the specs, but it is you would look at that and you go, which Japanese car company has this K car come from when you see it? It is the perfect little boxy thing with the tiny wheels, one at each corner, the sliding back doors. Looks great. Lots of glass, actually, which is wonderful to see. Brilliant. I don't know whether Japan will start to get nervous and start putting, maybe not tariffs, but encourage people to buy Japanese cars.
I think what's going to be interesting here is how it's priced, which isn't mentioned in this article, and actually whether Japanese buyers will buy non-Japanese K cars.
Yes, that is a thing. Yeah, it's price, isn't it? It'll be price and whether the homegrown market can compete on price, which nowhere else has the home market incumbents managed to.
Yeah.
But looks great.
The other thing about this is actually this is one that has, again, a European tie as well. There's lots to talk about. The e-car from the EU, as you were saying whilst we were chatting before the show, Andrew, the thing about this is if the EU do say, well, okay, we're going to have compact electric cars built in Europe, blah, 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 blah. BYD are already establishing a European base. You can just make copies of the tooling and start building it in somewhere within the EU, and you've got the perfect sort of e-car standard. You know, it's built in the EU. It's small, it's cheap, it's compact, all these things.
And BYD is becoming a more recognised brand thanks a lot to how much they have spent on advertising and sponsoring major European sporting events. Yeah, I can easily see this doing really well if it comes to Europe / the UK.
Yes. Yeah. So let's that actually is probably, and I've just realised that I forgot to move on my slide. That is probably one of the most important vehicles at the Mobility Show, I think, this year, for the most prosaic and dull reasons, but it was worth including here.
Yeah. Well, do you want to take us on to another small vehicle, which I'm personally absolutely gutted we will not see, and I really, really want to see?
Yeah, Daihatsu unveiled 2 electric K concepts. They unveiled the Kaioi-Bako K and the K Vision. They are, once again, electric K cars. The Kaioi-Bako K is the one that I particularly like. It looks an awful lot like some of Toyota's van concepts, but it's a tiny little camper version with a roof tent, a ladder, little tiny off-road tires.
Oh, they're so cute.
They do. It's not all-wheel drive. It is rear-wheel. Am I talking rubbish? No, it is. It's rear-wheel drive because it's a K car. It's an electric K car, so the motor's at the back. I'm sorry. I've just completely scared myself that I've got it all wrong. So Kaioi-Bako K, it's only 2-wheel drive, despite its cute little tires, but it shares the same design language as larger sort of Toyota sort of relatives, but it seems to have these little sort of squircle headlamps, which really are anthropomorphic, and other sort of bits and pieces. I mean, it's within the 3.4 meters long. It's still got a driver's seat, possibly a passenger seat, depends on how you set it up. So whether or not you want the bed, beds and stuff inside, it's all configurable.
I think it's one of those modular.
Yeah,
it's something similar to something else we've discussed recently and will come out as a special edition soon. But the whole modular idea and sort of adding the bits that you personally need and fitting them as and when needed, rather than being lumbered with a bunch of stuff you probably might not need or want to use.
Yes, exactly. Whilst in this case being super cute.
Yeah.
There'll be a link to a Car Scoops article. There are 2 separate YouTube videos in there, both from Daihatsu, explaining and showing off all about it, really.
Yeah, I love the fact that they've got for the camper van, there's contour design on the rear panels.
Oh, yeah.
The rear side panels and stuff like that. And it just goes to show the sort of individuality you can add to these things.
You could order that up for your own car, and I'd put it on for you if you wanted. You can get cut vinyl like that.
No, I know, but they've thought about this as from the factory, as it were, type thing.
Yes. Yeah. No, it is. It's cool.
I really like that. Okay, I'm going to move us on, and I'm going to stick within the Toyota group, and this is Toyota themselves, and the baby Land Cruiser FJ. This is a 5-door, smaller Land Cruiser, which it will be 4-wheel drive, has a 2.7-litre 4-cylinder engine, which will give 161 horsepower. It's on the IMV platform, which underpins the Hilux and the Fortuner.
Which, of course, we don't get in Europe.
No. And talking to you earlier, you don't think we'll get this either. I love this. I love the Land Cruiser's design language, which they've shrunk down into this package. Except I find and this is from someone who loves plastic cladding, the amount of bumperage just makes it look ungainly and odd.
It's closer to being a successor for the FJ Cruiser, which of course was sold in the US and then also in Japan as well. I looked at getting an FJ Cruiser when I was in the US, and I said for a long, long time that it was the only off-roader that I would have swapped the Vehicross out for. They've been out of production for 8 years and the prices were just still absolutely nuts. So this is partly kind of fits that slot.
Yeah.
I think in the sort of Japanese and possibly North American Toyota lineups. I don't know about those. I don't think this is going to make it to Europe, partly because of the 2.7-litre 4-cylinder engine, unless there is going to be some kind of plug-in hybrid version.
Yeah.
Then it ain't making it to the UK. And even if it is in plug-in hybrid version, Toyota UK has seemed to be so protective of the CO2 emissions levels. In theory, you can buy a Land Cruiser here. In practice, good luck. And I think that this will end up in the same sort of category. See also GR Yaris, GR86, etc., etc. So we'll see. It's really cool. It's really chunky. It's properly Fisher Price, and it's so Fisher Price it's kind of hard to work out what scale it is, to be honest. It does have a 101-inch wheelbase, and I say that because that's a very traditional Land Rover size. 2.5 meters roughly. It's about 4.5 meters long and about 2 meters tall. So it is relatively large.
Well, in the first slideshow that's on the Car Scoops article, there is the designer standing in front of two of them, so you get a sort of rough idea of scale.
Yes. It is one of the trickier ones to tell yourself. They're also showing off that you could get a small electric sort of trike that could go along with it, so you could do all your off-roading stuff, and then if you needed to get around in an urban setting, maybe stock up on more MREs or something, then you could use one of these little electric bike things fitted in the bag, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. If you can reduce the bumperage, I like it. I like the idea.
The aftermarket will be selling steel winch bumpers for that so quickly.
But yeah, no, it's great they're doing it. Shame we'll never see it.
Yeah, totally. And by the way, once again, I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah. Be nice to be wrong for a good reason.
It is always nice to be wrong for a good reason. Next up, though, Subaru have come out with an STI concept, and we know it's an STI concept because it's blue with gold wheels. It's also got big spoilers, and in this case is incredibly pointy.
It's all the angles. It's all the sharp angles.
It's all the sharp angles. It's also really quite big as well, and really quite flat.
Got to get those battery packs in somehow.
Well, you do. And so they seem to have taken the Porsche Taycan approach as opposed to the, hey, let's make it an SUV approach. This is from the performance scene experimental world that they supposedly had on their stand. It is all electric and it's slightly nuts.
It's an idea of what they could do.
Yes.
With a rapid electric fastback, I suppose is what you'd have to call it.
Yeah.
I feel that performance electrics are a waste of time because the electricness makes it so rapid anyway. This feels like a legacy. Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't even think of that.
I don't think that's what he means, everyone.
No, goodness me. I am so good at these puns without even knowing it. But with the old school attitude for marketing and the idea that performance has to sell, I still really do not believe that most car companies have wrapped their head around the fact that EVs are different. They do a similar job to an ICE, so we need to be brought along that journey, and they're still trying to pretend it's something that it isn't.
I don't completely agree with you.
Okay.
I think that there's also a certain amount of buyers who want something that looks sporty fast. It has wide tires. It probably has, rubbish ride comfort, and that's part of the appeal of it. And I think that this caters to that.
But to do that, you are amalgamating two different beasts together. Whereas an ICE, because I discussed this with one of the brand's PR team recently, and I think they're trying to take an ICE vehicle, particularly a performance or sporty one, is a compromised entity.
Mm-hmm.
It is a compromised product because it has to be that the ride's a bit uncomfortable, all these sort of things. That it's much noisier than you would anticipate. Mm-hmm. Whereas an electric has removed so much of these things because it is a different beast, and it is a much more, just by its powertrain, is a much more polished entity.
So what's wrong with having the choice then? But why can't you have both? You don't have to buy these versions.
But I don't think, I know what I'm saying is that I don't think the sporty bit works.
Okay.
Having driven the two examples we have, they were fine. I was not engaged by either of them in their sportiness.
Okay. Whereas I find that I enjoyed the sportiness of the Taycan Turbo S. There we go. Subaru at the same time, though, showed the Performance B STI concept, which is an STI version of the current 6th gen Impreza hatchback, which we don't get here in the UK. But yeah, it's basically a production car, isn't it?
It looks a lot like a Focus.
It does. It's like a Focus that's I was going to say a Focus that's had a really bad day.
Been Type R'd.
It has been Type R'd, exactly. It's Type R'd or GR Corolla'd or any of these things. Basically, it looks like its ram-raided carbon fiber accessory store.
Yes.
And I quite like it.
Liberty Walk's got all of it. Yeah, I think it looks ace because it's so stupid.
No, it looks ace. Liberty Walk haven't been anywhere near it. It looks ace. I mean,
it looks so stupid. It is fantastic for what it's trying to be.
Yes. Loads of wings.
It's perfect.
Scoops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. But you can see how that's been translated across into their STI concept, whether you like it or not.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. But like I say, I just don't feel that the industry has yet grasped. They still haven't grasped it. Or whether they have, or whether they feel that this is a transition period and this is to help us on the journey. I just don't feel they've put that much thought into it.
Whether the industry's grasped it or not, I don't think that the market has grasped it.
Oh, definitely not. No.
Yeah, well, there you go. And they're always going to chase the market.
Okay, I'm going to take us onto something that is much more sophisticated and grown up in its style.
From the ridiculous to the sublime, really.
Yes, Mazda with the Vision X Coupe, which is, unfortunately, in today's market, a rotary engine concept.
It's better than that. It's a twin-rotor turbocharged rotary engine.
But this looks absolutely gorgeous. It's a 5-door hatchback, long hatchback. Looks amazing.
It's very much more coupe than hatchback. I think I don't think you're doing it credit by calling it a hatchback in that way.
Well,
okay, so it's a hatchback in the way that a Rover SD1 was a hatchback.
It's a fastback then.
It is very much a fastback, yes.
But the rear end is possibly the least well resolved area on it. But you look at it in profile, and I just think it looks absolutely gorgeous. It's such a clean design. And I know I keep using that when it's Mazda.
Yeah. All from the front and the front three-quarters. You can tell that the rear was obviously the least successful bit, and they feel that because there aren't really any pictures of it available.
I mean, I'm feeling that there's a lot of aero. There'll be a lot of talk of aero and CD numbers and things like that, if it ever came to be.
But that doesn't explain why the rear lights are so fussy.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. Considering everything else is so sophisticated in its simplicity.
I love the interior, by the way. You can get a glimpse of it. You've seen pictures. I managed to include one that tried to show the sort of green and wood and brushed chrome interior. I don't know if it's chrome or aluminium or whatever, but brushed metal interior. Really nice. They're saying that it puts out 503 brake horsepower. It'll run for about 100 miles just on the battery. But once the engine kicks in with the motor and the battery going, the max range is quoted as just shy of 500 miles. To be honest, it's an application which should suit a rotary engine. You get up to speed and you stay at speed. Or the engine stays at speed and then just kicks off again, and the whole timing and fueling and everything is all computer controlled. People can't flood it and stuff. See the former RX-8 owner who knows these things.
No, it looks ace. I hope they do make it, particularly as it's a hybrid. So there's a chance it comes, but there's going to be things like door handles and proper wing mirrors yet to be added, and something done around the back. But
they've done so many Vision X concepts, and none of them have turned into anything, and they're all been beautiful.
I was reading an article that was talking about how it's down to costs, and that's what's holding back the development of these gorgeous concepts, is making them financially viable.
I mean, Mazda are so good at part sharing across all of the models and stuff.
But they also appear to be a company that's very keen to not go growth for growth's sake. They want to keep it manageable.
They do.
And then we're talking about a car that does, tens of thousands of cars a year. That sounds ridiculous that they're not going for growth's sake, but you know what I mean? Whereas you look at other companies and they are like foot flat down, we need more numbers, ignoring, or it feels like sometimes ignoring the other things that need to be done to keep up with that, to keep customers happy, etc.
I've often said that Mazda is the Japanese Saab.
I certainly feel it. Yeah,
it's that kind of thing. Yeah. Anyway, that is low and swoopy and conventionally attractive. Next up is Lexus. Lexus has been trying to reimagine its flagship LS model. It brought along 3 radical concepts to Tokyo, including one that's a 6-wheeled luxury minivan. I'd argue that the days of the S-Class and the big saloon being an ostentatious show of wealth are pretty much over. And that anyone who's anyone in the future, really what they want is, or what they need is some kind of minibus, some kind of MPV.
Yes.
Because that gives you the space to have meetings, to do things, to carry your family around in privacy, all of these kind of things, and sort of adaptable comfort and luxury. You're not the driver. You have someone else to drive it.
Yeah.
And this is a big thing in the Far East. I know that years ago when I was in teaching maths and English in a private school in Thailand, then lots of the kids were delivered by the driver, and they were delivered in a Delica, they were delivered in a Volkswagen Caravelle passenger version, which maybe set up for only 6 seats or stuff. But there was lots of them were delivered in a van like that. Toyota Hiaces were another favourite one, the sort of comfy passenger versions of those. And I think that this fits into certainly the very upper end of that sort of category. I mean, Mercedes do it very successfully with the V-Class, is a good example. This, however, looks like it's almost come out from Joe 90 as well, with its twin rear axles and its large front wheel. And yeah, it's a little bit dystopian, isn't it?
Very much. I mean, I was saying to you before we hit record that it reminded me of, and this is for some of the gamers out there, of a vehicle that's just come straight out of the game Cyberpunk 2077, that wonderful dystopian, horrific future that they've imagined. And it just screams that to me of isolation, of keeping oneself away from the dirty, filthy, smaller people who are beneath them, etc., while they go around in an urban area in this, frankly, enormous vehicle.
Yeah, it doesn't really help that it looks like there's kind of striations on all the windows on this particular one. It gives privacy from the outside. It's like if you're sitting in the window of a bus behind the sort of wrap and the advert bit, or a train or something, whilst from the inside giving a sort of Venetian blind effect.
Yeah.
Of just sort of keeping the amount of sunlight down without it being dark and pimped. You know, it's a kind of an interesting way of getting that sort of halfway between not sort of blacking out all the windows, but ensuring privacy. It just, I don't know. I love the idea of a luxury MPV and what comes with that. And Lexus are already doing that, of course, with the model I can't remember the name of, which is available in the UK.
Yeah, I can't remember this either.
But I think that this is adding to that idea.
But yeah, no, absolutely, because we've seen that more in China as well. There's Chinese versions of the luxury van. Well, think of it as well when you were saying about the S-Class. It's just the ease of getting in and out as well, because luxury means to many means not being inconvenienced in any way whatsoever. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have to struggle to get in and out of the car compared to just walking into the van.
Yeah, exactly. Lexus did a couple of other LS concepts to accompany this. One of them was a coupe, which had sort of similar themes, but was just a sort of jacked up Aston DBX type idea, but actually, well, far more attractive than the DBX, which is kind of cool in its own way, but nothing mold breaking. But they also showed the Lexus LS Micro concept, which sort of accompanies the minivan. And the idea is that you get most of the way in the minivan, and then you can move to your personal mobility device, this tiny little 3-wheeler that just looks like a suitcase. I'm sorry. It doesn't really, I don't really get it. But it's a single-seat, self-driving vehicle, perfect for tightly packed urban areas. Supposedly the cabin opens up like a jewel box.
I mean, it is hammering home the, look, you do not have to interact with the smelly people.
It is, yes.
It really is.
I mean, that includes your driver. I'm unconvinced by that totally. I mean, the coupe concept, I don't mind. I think it's kind of cool. But the single person mobility thing is a little bit on the odd side. Maybe it's for getting from the underground car park and in your apartment complex and zipping your way through to your office or whatever. But
no, it's the vehicle of choice for the ultra rich as they go around their gated community while the screaming masses are outside being told to eat cake.
I would ridicule you if you weren't just going to turn around and say America straight at me. Shall we go to completely the opposite end of what the Toyota Group was showing at Tokyo, but yet it's still mobility themed?
Let us do mobility hard. And at this point,
do it with the cutest, cuddliest little mobile child coffin you've ever seen.
There was from Toyota 4 or 5 individual mobility solutions depending on who you were. There's one pod thing, an autonomous vehicle pod thing that was for kids.
No, it's called the Kids Mobi. And it's described by Parametric Architecture as a compact electric bubble car for children designed to navigate autonomously and provide safe, independent transport. That's what Andrew's really trying to say.
Yes, well, if you would like your child to be trapped in a vehicle as software goes wrong or it cannot be opened in the event of a possible fire or something else.
It's a Toyota, not a Tesla. Come on.
It's just mad. I can't understand the thought behind making it a concept at all.
It is a bit of a you child, get in here and go to school.
We are removing ourselves from our child's life so far that we have decided that we are just going to bundle them into this thing and kick them off down the road and hope they make it to the other end. It's just mad.
I don't know that I would want a 6-year-old having independent transport, to be perfectly honest.
No, not at all.
No, it's a very cute little concept, but there were some other mobility concepts to go along with this. I think we've agreed are a bit more real.
There's an autonomous wheelchair, it's described as, called the WalkMe, and the inspiration for the propulsion of this is crab's legs. Therefore, that gives you a slightly idea of how creepy it looks when it's actually moving along.
There is a certain amount of Monsters, Inc. in this, okay? I'm not going to deny it. But it is really very cool what it can do. Because the idea is that it can do stairs, it can squat down, it can make itself taller so it can adapt to various surroundings and use cases and stuff. It's pretty neat.
I like the fact they have been thinking about different terrain, different use cases, different needs of someone who might use it. I'm not sure, one, that the leg idea is something that society will accept.
The barrier to crossing the creepy line is quite high.
Yeah, when you think possibly a caterpillar tread might do similar in a more conventional where we go, yeah, that's fine. I mean, there was another concept they had, which is a wheelchair, an off-road wheelchair, and I like the look of that a lot, primarily because it's clearly got 2 rocket launchers over each wheel arch.
They look like Johnny Five's eyes.
Yeah,
but it's meant to go along with the FJ Land Cruiser.
That looks more realistic as a prospect. But that's the whole point of concepts, is you're supposed to be exploring potential ways to meet the needs of people. And this is just one possible solution for helping people who have restricted mobility get around in more areas rather than be constrained to only those places in which there's a levelish, easily traversed surface.
Yeah.
From that point of view, it's a great thing that it's being explored.
Yes, exactly. And that's what these bits are all about. Which I think is cool. I think it's interesting. I think that showing them at shows like this, which gets 1 million visitors over 10 days, then that increases awareness. of this sort of concept, this sort of idea as well.
But also it helps because I noticed in some videos about this, there's tons of kids going and there's lots of kids areas at the show, that it gets tomorrow's designers excited and enthused and sparking with ideas. Again, I don't think you would get that just from a virtual show.
No.
Or a presentation, because would a 10-year-old look at a presentation from the Toyota Corporation? Probably not.
I would imagine not.
But you walk them around the show and they see the little pod, whilst, we've mocked it and said it's a ridiculous idea, they may go, oh, how about this? And go home and scribble some idea, and work from there.
Anyway, moving on from some of the slightly crazy mobility stuff, we're going to talk about one more thing, which isn't really a car, but neither is it some sort of odd autonomous pod. It's the IMV Origin concept. It's a flat pack truck that can be, according to Autocar, whatever its owner needs. They're showing it as essentially a base with minimum viable cab to provide rollover protection, in this case, and a single driver's seat. And the idea is that it can be built and sold in anywhere in the world almost, even in places where terrain's tough, where access to spare parts is really hard, public transport's non-existent. The idea is that it's to be as simple as possible. And if people want to build a box van version, they can build a box on the back of it, or they can strap some other boxes they've already got on the back of it. And they can then use it in whatever way they need. They can, maybe put a tray on the back of it for collecting harvest or something. They can do all of these things, and it's easy to work on, and it's easy to maintain. Not just that, as a result, it looks freaking cool.
What you just walking through it there, I knew there was something about it that reminded me of something. Reminds me of the Ox.
The Ox. Yeah. No, I knew. No, that hadn't.
Absolutely.
That hadn't passed me by.
When you started explaining, it was like that's what I was thinking, but I couldn't articulate. I think it's a wonderful idea that they give you this, as you say, the minimum viable platform in which you then, again, we were talking with the Daihatsu Ultra minivan.
Yeah,
it's giving you the platform, and then you adapt the vehicle to what your needs are at that time. And I think we're going to see this more and more, because more and more companies are exploring this route of, you take what you need. What do you personally need? But because it's modular, it doesn't mean that when you sell the vehicle on, if you do, that you are stuck with it. Or you go into another phase in your life where you don't need that, so then you swap out the modular bits to something else. And I love how utilitarian this looks for starters, and how many possible applications this could be put to. Just so many.
Yeah. It's
clever. We love clever on this show. We really do love clever design that's been thought through like that.
And even better is simple and clever.
Yeah.
And that's where this comes in. I mean, there's this talk from Toyota executives about how it feels really weird to them to leave stuff half finished. And to not have said, well, here's your product, and go, well, here's something you can build your product on. Feels odd. But this is shown sort of as a concept, but then you look more closely at what's there, and you can see that there are side marker lights. You can see that there's all the little bits that you need. It has proper sized wing mirrors on one side.
I can see them adding a proper seat rather than what looks like it's a blow-up seat at the moment.
It does. It doesn't look great. I can see them adding a bit more, but
it would be very utilitarian cover on it because it's open to the elements. Just love it. Love the idea. Love the thinking behind it, and love them again. As with all these concepts, and a lot of these concepts that were in the show, some of which we haven't included.
Lots of which we haven't included.
But exploring potential uses. Yeah. And that becomes rarer when an industry is struggling financially, which the car industry is doing. So they're having to get clever, which then, because of the constraints, means that the products you get are really interesting, hopefully.
Yeah, we see similar things with some of the Renault kind of modular stuff in Europe as well.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Not just limited to Japan, that one, but super interesting.
No.
Let's round off with a couple more mobility concepts from Honda.
Yes, we're taking mobility to its fullest extent here, and we are going to include the Honda Jet Elite 2, really hammering home the we are special side of things. The plane does look great, though.
It does. It's a very cool-looking plane. I think I saw one in real life once.
Yeah. But not only that, there is as well the sustainable rocket.
Yes. I mean, there's only a certain level of sustainability in rockets, but again, rockets that can take off and land. And this is the real rocket. This rocket that was displayed in the Honda booth was the one that did takeoff and landing tests in Taiki and Hokkaido in June this year. They're showing off
because Japan has ambitions to be on the moon, don't they? Because they've commissioned for lunar vehicles. Mm-hmm. We've mentioned a few times some of the concepts that have come out.
Toyota stuff, yeah.
Yeah, because of the nature of the moon, there is some really, or just the surface is really tricky in terms of making something that doesn't immediately break down or seize up.
It's quite difficult to get up there and build a perfectly flat and level landing pad. You know, there's some logistical challenges going on. This is all interesting stuff. Honda also showed things like a large size outboard motor. Lexus also displayed a yacht. You know, there's all sorts of stuff like that going on, which we just don't have the time to be able to cover all the remit, really.
Yeah, there's electric motorbikes and well, not quite motorbikes, but more than a e-bike stuff as well, which I feel of all the mobility things we can do is exploring the electric bicycle side of things more. I think that's got a real future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. It absolutely does. That's all we kind of plan to talk about. Andrew, what's your pick from what we've talked about? Which one is your pick? And I think I can guess.
It's actually quite tricky.
Fairly good idea.
It's quite tricky.
Okay.
Because I'm torn between the Toyota wheelchair that I really feel is excellently thought out with the slightly chunkier tires, but not massively chunky, so it would be used in an urban area as well. With the Daihatsu Camper, as well as the Vision X Coupe.
Right. You're really managing to narrow this down well, aren't you?
I think I'll probably lump for the Daihatsu Camper just because I think it's so cute.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think it's a fabulous size, and I think it shows how we don't need a massive footprint to be able to achieve a lot of things we want to achieve. We feel we must have bigger, and that's not necessarily always the way that we need to go.
Yeah. I'm going to choose the Daihatsu Kaioi Bako as well. It just, for similar reasons to you, I just feel it lets you achieve all sorts of cool stuff. It's not showy-offy. It's just so clever from that modular point of view. There's just something about it that seems right. I can't express it any more than that, and I know that's a bit lame, but it just feels right for sort of just now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I again, I've said it already at the beginning. I think I used to find this about Geneva as well. I still think there is such a great place for physical shows for people to go along and see stuff. I mean, as you said earlier on, is a 10-year-old going or a 7-year-old going to watch a presentation by someone from Toyota about children's mobility? No. Are they going to go to a motor show and kind of poke at stuff and try it out? Then the answer is yeah. You know, obviously, this was about mobility. This was about all sorts of forms of transport and personal transport.
And I think that's key,
yes,
honestly, because they were aiming for a wide range of people, but it was still very individual because of the nature of a lot of these. Okay, there were some lorries and trucks and bigger commercial stuff, but generally it was about people's way to get around in its various forms.
It's very much personal mobility. And, you know, some of the other brands were showing buses and coaches and also, and not so much coaches, but sort of urban buses and transport systems and that kind of stuff that people can use as part of public transport to get around as that part of their life when you need to do that. I think it's very interesting. Completely opposite, obviously, theme to SEMA, perhaps. It's just, but it's different show for a different purpose.
I think, hopefully, those who are still trying to put on shows across the world see this and learn lessons from it.
Yeah.
And learn to show off some exciting tech, because I find, whilst I wasn't positive about some of the stuff, I was excited to see it. I'm really interested to see the thinking behind it and the possibilities, because, you know, I'm very clear that I don't know. I am not sitting here going, I know the solution for all the problems, blah, 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 or any of the problems, really. So I love to see how other people view the problems and their solutions for it. I'm always up for looking at that. And I don't think we can do that unless they are gathered into a place and shown off, because there's so many disparate locations online to go to look these things up that we'll miss stuff.
Yeah. And I like that this didn't seem to be, some of the specialist shows seem to be far more gatekeepered than perhaps this seems to be. I mean, that's the impression I get from thousands of miles away.
Yeah, a lot of these can be slap yourself on the back, aren't we wonderful?
Yeah, and
this didn't feel like it.
Didn't get that vibe, no. Anyway, I'm glad we covered it, glad we talked about it. I hope you enjoyed it as well. Don't forget, folks, that between now and next week, you can give us any feedback, share your thoughts for the show up on the contact page of motoringpodcast.com, the hub of all our activities. Remember, our Patreon is available at motoringpodcast.com/support. And please leave a review and rating whatever your podcast app lets you do such a thing. It really does matter, as does YouTube as well. So please do remember that that's a great way and a great place to be able to follow and catch up on our podcasts every week. Andrew, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Best way to get in touch with me is if you search for Crack Windscreen on Blue Sky, or I am under my full name on LinkedIn if that's your preferred platform. And Alan, if people would like to discuss more about the Tokyo Mobility Show, what's the best way for them to do that personally?
Well, the best way to get in touch with me is Blue Sky, where I'm at AJP Bradley. That's BRADLEY.bsky.social. We'll be back next week with a new show. But until then, I've been Alan Bradley.
I've been Andrew Clues.
And safe motoring.